All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm excited to be talking to you today about leadership in AI. My team has handicapped me a little bit because I'm from New Jersey and I like to do a lot of this, but I got a mic today. So before we start, I want to ask a question that I've asked for the past couple of years as I've talked about AI and leadership. Because it's a question that I'm seeing a trend in. There's a change in the responses I'm hearing from when I asked this question just a couple of years ago and to what I'm seeing now. And that question is, what's one word or phrase that describes how your leaders feel about AI? Optimistic. Okay. Another word. Your leaders. Think about from the leader's perspective. Unsure. Okay. Overwhelming. Great. Now, I want to ask you the same question, but I want you to think about it through the lens of individual contributors, through your team members. And I want to recognize that not everybody feels the same way about AI, but just generally speaking, if you had to say, what's one word or phrase that describes how your employees feel about AI? And you're in the front row, so I'm going to invite you to answer this very important question right on the spot. One word or phrase that describes how your people feel about AI. Afraid. Fair. Fear. Hesitant. Uneasy. Yeah. And so as I've asked this question, what I'm hearing from you reflects the shift that I'm seeing in the leaders and the individuals that I talk to, which is that leaders are a little bit more optimistic than their team members. And when we talk about the larger employee base, they tend to be a little bit more fearful and a little more hesitant. And I think that's the opportunity for leaders to bridge that gap between the bounded optimism that leaders have and the uncertainty and the fear and the sense of being unsure that individual contributors have. Now, if you look at the data, McKinsey says that 78% of individuals are using AI at least once a week at work. But Gallup says 70% are not prioritizing AI. If you look at data coming out of Harvard and Gallup, some folks say that AI is making them less smart, maybe a little bit lazier. Yet 1 in 6 are using it even when they're explicitly told not to. So what's going on? It sounds like a contradictory or a confusing story. And that's because it is. The data that we're seeing reflects the fact that individuals want to use it, but they're fearful. They're being encouraged to use it at work, but they're a little bit unsure about it. What's behind all of that is not a technology challenge, it's a leadership challenge. Because look at what they're concerned about. They're concerned about trust issues, both trust in the data and trust in their leaders who say, go ahead, use it. We mean it. Go ahead. They're not sure about this massive change and what it means to their identity. They worry that it makes them less smart. And some of them are concerned about their jobs. But again, the challenge, if you look at all of this, is not a technology one, it's a leadership challenge. And it falls on the shoulders of leaders, as most large changes do, to reconcile so many different tensions that AI puts in front of us. The tension of use AI. It can be incredibly fast, but make sure that you keep your judgment in the mix. We want to automate. Go ahead, embrace it. But remember, you're accountable for the outcome. Tell your team to innovate. We mean it. We want them to embrace the technology, but be certain that there are guardrails. People want efficiency. They also want meaning in the work that they do. Ultimately, if AI can help leaders think a little bit more, if it can be that big brain, it can't be the heart that we know is most important for individuals leading other human beings. So AI brings yet another tension. Leaders have to deal with many of them, and this is just another one. So what is it then that leaders need to lead confidently, to lead in a way that demonstrates they understand the concerns and they're giving their people the support that they need to move confidently forward. Well, we believe they need three things to lead in a human and AI world. Number one, to use AI intentionally. What we've heard over and over again from leaders is, yes, I want my organization embracing the tech, but I want to know that they're doing it in a way that's connected to something bigger, that it's not technology for technology's sake, but that it's really going to help us achieve our goals. So being thoughtful and intentional about how you bring technology into the fold. Number two, we hear, my team is losing their critical thinking. They're maybe relegating too much to AI, and I'm seeing that show up in the work that they're doing, in the output. We sometimes hear the term work slop, and that's what leaders are saying. Help me help them think critically while using all that tech can bring. And then last but not least, and near and dear to my heart, always, always remaining human-centered. So what does that mean? It means creating an environment of trust and psychological safety so that your team members are using technology in a confident way, in a way that lets them know they can talk about the challenges, the excitement, what they're noticing, what they're seeing, and in a way that empowers them. It means leading with transparency. Another thing that I've heard from leaders over and over again is, I want to see that my leader is using the tech. I'm not going to believe that it's truly safe for me to use it unless they're role modeling and leading the way. So AI doesn't change the leadership skills that we need. In fact, I think it creates a greater demand for human-centered skills. There's a lot that AI can automate, but it can't automate connection. It can't build trust with your employees. It can't let them know that you care about them. And helping leaders understand, let AI do all of the things on the left, but make no mistake about it, you are still absolutely critical when it comes to higher order thinking and skills of human connection. You know, I was reading an article about the Delta CEO. Did anyone read this article where he wrote the commencement speech? And he admitted to using AI. So he used AI to write the commencement speech, and then he looked at it and he said, there's no soul in this. There's no heart in this. And he threw it out and he started over again. And what was interesting was when he started the commencement speech and he said he had used AI, there were boos among the crowd. And then he went on to talk about how he brought the heart in it and the soul in it when he put pen to paper. And I think that's what employees want. They want to use the technology. They want to know that you're thinking about AI and using it with intentionality, but always making sure that you're bringing that heart and that judgment to what you do. So AI accelerates performance, but people-centered leadership inspires it. This is what we believe. AI needs humans. Humans need leaders. The leader in the loop is what makes AI work. And I don't usually like to read slides, but that just sounds so good that I like to read it directly. So the leader in the loop is what makes AI work. Leaders who are using AI with intention, with judgment, role modeling that good behavior. Because ultimately, as I said at the beginning, all those words that you saw on the screen, those weren't technology challenges. Those are leadership challenges. Those are challenges of confidence and trust and accountability and empowerment. Leaders need to define clear goals, set expectations, and provide the right support. If you're looking at that and saying, that's nothing new relative to AI, you're right, because that's not good AI leadership, it's just good leadership. So one of the things that we've developed in conjunction with this point of view and what we stand for is a Leading on Purpose with AI speaker series. These are 4 90-minute virtual sessions aimed at helping leaders understand how to use AI with intention, how to foster critical thinking, again, avoid that work slop, remain human-centered, create trust, communicate with transparency, establish an environment of safety where people feel comfortable speaking up and feel as though it's both what the technology can bring and the human element. And then last but not least, how can AI support those leader conversations? Now, I want to take you a little bit into just the first one to give you a taste for what this is all about. We won't go into all of the sessions, but using AI with intention, which is the cornerstone of the speaker series, helps leaders understand what it is that they can use AI for and what it is that you can never relegate to AI. So use AI to draft feedback, to maybe take that first stab at the commencement speech, but then make no mistake about it. If that's really going to land, you bring the human element to that, the heart, the voice, the connection. Use AI to write copy or develop snappy images. But when you're up in front of the crowd and those snazzy images are on the screen, they're not going to matter if you don't have that connection with the people that you're speaking with or the team that you're leading. So this is all about not railing against AI and not going so far into the technology that we lose what matters most. Because AI can't lead. It can augment, but as a leader, you're responsible for being clear, communicating, and being that role model. Now, one last little bit of the session that I want to share with you is some of the details behind this. And one of the things that I found with AI is that organizations will make bold proclamations like leaders need to set guardrails, and then they drop the mic and they exit. And the leaders are looking around like, that's great. What do you mean by guardrails? And by guardrails, I mean more than organizational policy. So being really clear about those guardrails, because if you don't define expectations for your people, then they don't know what good looks like. And so we say using AI with guardrails as a leader means using your mind, essentially. So number one, what's your motive for using the technology? Is it the right decision to bring AI? Or is it something that you as a human being or that your teams as humans need to do without tech? What's your motive? Why are you using it? Think through that before you forge ahead. Second guardrail, what input are you feeding in? What information are you giving it? Being mindful of confidential information, client information, or where the data is coming from, right? We know that AI data is flawed. We know that there are challenges with it, so being mindful of the input. There's a little bit of that critical thinking in there. What do you notice about the output? Is it quality? Does it pass the sniff test? Does it sound like an echo chamber? And then last but not least, how do you decide what to do with the information? That human in the loop has the accountability for making the decisions, for taking the actions. That will never be relegated to AI if a leader and their team is going to be successful. So this is a little bit of a preview of what is in that content. Not only can it be used with leaders, but certainly these are guardrails that can be cascaded down through your organization. So the Leading on Purpose speaker series, using AI with intention, fostering critical thinking, remaining human-centered, and AI-supported conversations. In addition to these dedicated sessions, what we've also done at Blanchard is look at all of our existing leadership programs and modified them to be contextualized for AI. So these are dedicated, but what you'll find throughout the broader portfolio is we've modified the content to take AI into account. And then we also have a tool called Blanchard.ai, Blanchard AI. Brittany Cole will be doing a demo of that. And that's a tool that allows leaders to query a chatbot on any number of leadership issues or questions to help them prepare for a coaching conversation or a performance feedback conversation. And it will give them information that's consistent with what they learned in the classroom. So not only are they hearing about good leadership behaviors in a virtual session or in an in-person session, but with an AI-enabled tool, they're able to get consistent support that reinforces what they learned in the classroom.